Blessings. Well, today this is going to be a very controversial clip because the clip I'm going to talk about is cracking open your whole third eye, illuminating yourself, understanding that things that you thought were considered evil is just a concept. Things that are considered good, all concepts. I'm going to break you loose from concepts. It's up to you to choose to break loose, but I'll give you a little insight on why it'd be good to just jump on your own and seek for yourself true answers. Things that, trust me, even though you can read all you want, you're still going to find the answers truly deeply within you. The third eye goes way back into the practices, way even before we call Egypt Egypt. It was Kemet before, but also it was a land that was so vast in knowledge of what they call alchemy. Alchemy has a language, alchemy has a structure. It talks about, a true alchemist will understand that it talks about cause and effect. That's the main bottom line. What is done will have a reaction to it. Okay? So what comes after the reaction? You have to figure all this out. And this goes on with your path in your life. This is something that was deeply understood. It wasn't about good or bad. It was just about cause and effect. Alchemists don't believe in good or evil. We don't believe in gods and devils. We believe that God is a word that humans use to identify themselves with things that they praise and put and glorify amongst their own being. So, therefore, this is something that's very foreign to an alchemist, somebody who's practicing of these old practices. This practice also teaches you about medicines, and medicines is not just what you think that you have been taught by the Western medicine business, and that's exactly what it is now. Because way back when, if you didn't clean and have a cleansed body first, everything else was going to fail anyway. You learned about purification of your temple. You learned about teaching others about purification of their temple, of refraining from things that are not going to build and grow, that are blockers and barriers in your life. That could be the things you eat, the things you see, the things you touch, the things you smell. These things, you have to purify yourself from outside waves that might be blocking your sensory. I mean, alchemists think of many things that go beyond what we usually think of in medicine. We think of a diagnosis, a prognosis, a treatment, and hopefully a cure. It's completely different when it comes to alchemic medicine. Alchemic medicine is the source, the life of the source, and the cycle of the source, and how to make your body to either be effective in creating and defeating the war or living with the situation. So medicine is completely different in alchemic thought. And only by understanding that the medicines that you use, you want to think about the, as I said, cause and effect. So to an alchemist, if to use a poison to cure is like way out of our range. We don't even want to think about why would we choose to use poison to cure ourselves, or eat poison and expect that we will grow and not have parts of our chakras and body blocked from all the energy it's supposed to use. But not only do we use this medicine as an internal thing for a human body, we think about this in every aspect on earth. It's not just for your internal being, it's for every aspect, because we visualize everything as a living being. Everything from every atom to every electron to every proton to every neuron, everything is alive. If it has a consciousness, it is considered a life form. So therefore everything is a life. Everything has a consciousness. We don't differentiate, because when you do that, you separate yourself from other life. You start categorizing what life is. Life is great. We cannot categorize it. We did not create it. Why are we trying to? So, also, alchemists have been known to use symbolism to talk and speak to each other, and this is because it's easier for the language barrier by these symbols. And these symbols are misinterpreted because a lot of these new founding Masons and new founding so-called Illuminatis, people who are just trying to be down, are using these symbols and have no knowledge about the whole principle that these symbols represent. See, the reason we need these symbols is to keep our practices alive, so that no matter what language you spoke of, you understood by looking at this symbol because it related to you by your visual. I'm going to start with one symbol that is very, very controversial, and that is called the swastika. The swastika depicts four basic boundaries and a center point. This was depicting something way before our history books discuss. They talk about a place called Pangea. Pangea is not what we think it is, and this is why. Everybody has their own opinion about how the land split. But if the land split to a point where North America, South America, all that had violently just pulled apart, the land underneath will be very rugged, cracked. You will see lines of rock over rock, things in matter that shows movement, shows erosion, shows what violence of land pulling apart shows. But when you go into certain parts of the ocean, when you go around the Bermuda Triangle, when you go around Cuba, I'm talking about underwater, when you go around Japan and crossing over around India to Africa, what are they finding? They are finding underwater cities. So way in the middle, you're telling me, of the Atlantic Ocean, there is an underwater city. And the Bermuda Triangle, as we know, is known for its magnetic fields that are very astounding to man's thought, because they have not been able to successfully dwell in this one center of the magnetic field and been able to discuss, the power of it. No one has successfully done so, but what they have successfully done was seen what was underneath the water with cameras, and that was carved stones into paths and also monuments and buildings underwater. What the swastika was trying to depict was that midpoint where we consider Atlantis being in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and it crashed down. It sunk. They talked about a meteorite, but you can see where around the Caribbean Ocean there looks like a slide where something probably put an imprint. It's a big crater there, but something made the land just drop in, and what we're seeing now is due to different levels in the ocean and different events coming with the past age, because we're going through a new age now. We're about to see a lot of same things go on. So these things we're talking about what existed within the past age. And they talked about the elements of the people that they lived their guidelines by, which was called the four corners of the earth. You had fire, water, earth, and air. That's what the swastika depicts. So people who are scared of this symbol is only because of the miseducation on what these symbols represent and the misuse of people who are knowledgeable about these symbols, the misuse of their character, things they're capable of doing with their wisdom, and how it spread to hurt other humans and other life is why people are not even interested in knowing what does it mean. Second symbol will be the pentagram. And this one, and yes, I have me a little mini pentagram on me, is a simple Wiccan symbol, mystical symbol. People consider it. I don't consider it mystical, but that's what people consider it. I just know that it does describe what it needs to describe. It describes the different elements, but it also describes the ether. And the ether is what we call the spirit. It is something that we know is in us, that we seek, that drives. It makes us feel like we're separate from just an average computer, because it makes us feel as though we don't need for a programmer to program us. It's already programmed. And as when the pentagram is facing up, is when you're seeking spirituality within the light, within the beauty of light. When you invert the pentagram, you putting your spirituality down. Now you're seeking more deeply within your familiar and what you know. And this scares people because you're actually seeking your demons. You're seeking your own inner point, putting your spirituality in yourself. That's what the inverted pentagram means. Like I said, a true alchemist don't believe in gods and devils, because we believe that we make our choices, we make the decision on what we do. But we also believe that influences and atmospheres and things of that nature can sway and influence our decision. But the bottom line is, we still have a choice. We can go against the influence. That's what makes us human. So, you have a lot of those who are asking, well, what about the Illuminati? First of all, that 33rd degree is just limited. Because you find out there's brothers that tell you that it goes past that. When you get initiated, they first tell you that you have to at least have a god. As I said, true alchemists don't believe in gods. We know there's other life forms, but we don't believe in gods. You have to exalt something. I'm not insulting you just because you gave me a piece of your knowledge. I'll thank you, but okay, I'm seeking it within myself. I'll know whether I'm going to utilize it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to beg and plead for it. I'm not going to. But the 33rd degree is very limited. They don't know that once you pass, you're going to find out that these guys don't believe in God either. They believe in the eternal link. So, what you're reading on the internet, all this is all hype. We created all this stuff. This is creation. This was not nothing that was from the practice at all. We allowed ourselves to hate our practice and allow others to take over the practice, interpret it in their way, and use it against us. That's how brilliant we are. We're so brilliant that we appoint a leader above us. We designate other people to make our decisions. We have elections on who gets to screw us first. You know what I mean? That's how it works. You know, that's how it's just interesting how humans work. But yeah, that's what we do. Because we don't have the cojones to take care of business ourselves, stand in our own controversy, seek within ourselves. So we got to find gods and leaders and stuff like that. No, the spirituality lies inside you. That's where it lies. Your God is in you. Why don't you stop playing around and start breaking open that third eye, and you'll find out where God is. Your God is. And people ask, well, what about people who get possessed? Oh, yeah, there are weak people that are open vessels, and there are beings that don't live in a physical volume body. Because y'all are so limited, y'all don't know how to go past the third dimension anyway. You're only in the third dimension. So there are beings that know about the fourth dimension and everything else. They know how to comprehend things outside of just mass and volume. So they know that this little weak little being, oh yeah, you're a god. You seek your God outside. You're very easy to get in internal because you won't fight me. You'll think I'm a devil. I'm gonna tell you I'm a devil. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you I'm Satan. Satan had nothing better to do but jump inside you right now. Come on, really? Good old saying from somebody that was close to my brother, his mother, said, common sense isn't common. Yeah, humans, you de-evolved. You caused all this on itself. So when the so-called Illuminati gathers up their people, it's only because they know what's going on and they don't care about you. They don't have to. You destroyed yourself. You fight yourself. Y'all hate each other on your own. You don't. I mean, you're dependent. You can't get mad at them. You are the dependent species. How are you going to get mad at a species that don't want to have to deal with you? Because you have to lean on them and you want to lean on them and you cry to lean on them. You changed my life. You're doing this, that, and the third. No, you change your own life. Gosh, you make them sick. And I can see why. So please, people, get some balls. Start taking care of yourself. If y'all all got together and told them, yeah, we're not going to take your poison no more. There's no more of me drinking your fluoride water. There's no more of me putting aspartame in my food. There's no more of my kids getting shot up with inoculations full with formaldehyde, mercury. And you want to see the CDC list? No, y'all don't have the balls to say that. Everybody knows better than you. How do you trust something over yourself? Matter of fact, why don't you do this? Take a week to yourself and start talking to yourself. Get to be your friend. Get to be your best friend. When the last time you said, I love you to me? When's the last time you said, I'm a beast? I'm that. You know what I mean? You don't. You want somebody else to say it. Freaking dependent species. So stop getting mad at the Illuminati because you are showing them that they're right. You're a lower freaking human vessel. There is maybe 20% that I am around seeing that is finally waking up. But then there are so many that are scared to let go because they're holding on a concept that was taught by people who killed your people. And then get mad at the people and tell them that their practice is evil. When, yeah, they're going to make you hate your own. Yeah, they're making you hate your shit so you can't rise up. So brilliant human beings that you want to call yourself because you swear that you're evolving. But as I said, how is the creator dependent upon his creations? That's how retarded it is. How do we de-evolve? How do we go from great languages that when you spoke a language, the language spoke mathematics, vibrations, and everything in syncrecy, and now your language sounds like garbage, like sounds like grunts. You're about to start grunting at people like cavemen. You're retarded. You are. And everybody can bomb on this as much as you want, but the truth is we cause things upon ourselves. And I'm tired of people complaining. Stop complaining and do something about it. Stop talking. Get your behind up. Go talk to your neighbor. Say hello. Go to your freaking community center. Join, volunteer. Do something. Nobody wants to do something. They want to talk. And then they want to tell somebody else, I'm going to delegate this person to do it for me. And wondering why things are not getting done. So, the practices of the third eye is about getting things done, seeking within yourself, and connecting with everything. And stop acting like other things don't exist. And just come to yourself. I love me. I am the power of me. I make my decisions. You're not my God. How are you, laws and stuff, making your decisions? Did they create you? So why are they controlling you? It's created. Why is the things created controlling you? Common sense isn't common. Tell you. So stop knocking people because they're smarter than you. I know they're letting in a lot of dummies because they're blood related and stuff like that. I'm not understanding that just because you're blood related. You're a dummy, you're a dummy. I mean, I'd rather go pick the person on the street that got a lot more sense or whatever just because they're not bloodline related than you keep on letting these freaking, matrix mindsets go through. But that's how things go. Why don't you stop complaining and do something about it? And the pineal gland is powerful. It locks both of the sides of your brain. It shows you a movie in the back of your head so you can sit back, relax, and watch that joint so you can be able to know what's going on and know the past, present, and future because time does not freaking exist and it knows everything. So stop it. It connects to your hypothalamus, to your pituitary gland. It's an internal pyramid and it enlightens and sends hormones and everything down your system through your nerves, through your bloodstream and everything to hit your chakras one by one, all the way to you hit your crown, to your circle, where you know illumination, where you able to separate yourself from every human concept. Peace.